What's going on, everybody? Cleepus Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. Now, as always, if you do end up wanting to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out the description, where we'll be linking to several other videos about it, as well as some information about pricing, availability, and some of my favorite smartphone accessories. But with that being said, let's get into it. So the first reason why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is the display. Now, despite being a really affordable device, we are getting a great display here. So if you're consuming a lot of content, if you're going to be on your phone a bit more, then for what it is, this will be a really good choice. With the Celero 5G Plus, we're getting a really large 6.95-inch 120Hz IPS LCD display with an aspect ratio of 20.5:9. So when it comes to the size and dimensions, this display is not only really impressive for what it is, but honestly, even in really any kind of price range, you really don't see phones this big this often. So if you're going to be doing something like reading, for example, where you want things to be a bit larger and easier to see, in general, with a display like this, for that kind of activity, you will get a great experience. With the 20.5:9 aspect ratio, the scrolling is also going to be real good too. You can fit a good amount of content on the screen without having to scroll too much. And if you're doing something in landscape mode, like watching videos, playing games, looking at photos, stuff like that, with a form factor like this, you're going to get a much nicer, more immersive experience. Things are going to look a bit more cinematic. And aside from the size and dimensions, we're also getting really good image quality here too. With this phone, we are getting a 1080p resolution, so things are going to be nice and sharp. So if you're doing that stuff like watching videos and looking at photos, maybe using social media or playing a game, where you not only want things to be easy to see, but you also want really good image quality too, with this phone, you will get a good experience for that kind of thing too. And with a 120Hz refresh rate, the movement on the screen is a bit faster and smoother, making the phone feel a bit more premium to use. So in general, if you are looking for a more affordable phone that has a really nice display, then this phone will be a great choice. My second reason why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is the processor. Now with this phone, we're getting 6GB of RAM with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G processor. Now in general, this is a really good processor. I have seen it used in several other phones and they all have really good performance. And in my experience, this phone is definitely not an exception. Now, first of all, as you can tell by both the name of the phone and the name of the processor, this is a 5G phone, so considering that on sale you can get this phone from anywhere between $59 and $159, and even at the full price of $289, it's really not that bad. This just goes to show that at this point in 2023, 5G phones are really becoming more and more affordable, so definitely great there. And in addition to having 5G connectivity, again, the Celero 5G Plus is definitely a really fast device. Sure, when you compare it to a much higher end phone like a Google Pixel 6a or a Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, it's not going to be that fast, but for more basic daily activities that people typically use smartphones for anyway, stuff like web browsing, social media, streaming content like videos and music, and some light mobile gaming, you will get a pretty good experience here. And again, for me, I haven't had any performance issues or anything like that, and things have run pretty smoothly. Now, I did run a benchmark test on this phone using Geekbench 6, and here are the results I got. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then comparing your results to these, and that's going to give you a better idea of where this phone stands performance-wise compared to your current device, because of course, depending on what you have, it may or may not actually be a performance upgrade. If you're coming from maybe an older flagship phone, for example, like an old iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy S10, then yeah, this phone is probably not going to be an upgrade. In fact, compared to something like the iPhone XS Max, it'll probably be a pretty big downgrade. But if you're coming from more of a mid-range phone, then chances are it actually will be a pretty good upgrade. But again, in general, for average daily use, in my experience, things do run really well on this phone, and most people are probably not going to have any issues. My third reason why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is the battery. Now with this phone, we're getting a really large 5000 mAh battery that also supports 15-watt fast charging. So with the 5000 mAh battery, definitely a real large battery here. So if you're looking for something that has really good battery life that you can basically use throughout the day without having to charge, this phone will be great for that. And then down the road, as the battery degrades, which all batteries do, with this phone you're not going to notice it nearly as quickly as you would with a much smaller battery. And because of this, if you like to get one phone and keep it for a longer time without having to replace it, then this phone will be a great choice for that. And when it comes to charging speed, while it's not the best fast charging out there, for what you're most likely going to be paying for this phone, it's pretty much the best you're going to get. And in my experience, it does charge decently fast. And another cool thing about this phone's battery that you're not really going to find in many phones that aren't flagship phones is that with the Celero 5G Plus, we actually are getting wireless charging. Now, on one hand, wireless charging isn't really a game changer or anything like that, but I do think it is a nice feature to have. And if you're maybe traveling, for example, it is definitely a nice convenient option, because instead of having a battery pack with a wire that's definitely annoying to carry in your pocket, you can get a wireless charger like this that basically goes right onto the back. So like this, and it's gonna charge it just fine. So in general, while again wireless charging isn't really like a game changer, it definitely gives you a lot more flexibility in different situations. So overall, if you are looking for a phone that has a good battery, you're definitely not gonna go wrong with this phone. My fourth reason why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is the storage. Now with this phone, we're getting 128 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion, so definitely plenty of storage here. For the average user, you're most likely not ever going to have to worry about filling this up. Really, the main time you're going to fill up your storage is if you have a bunch of photos and videos and stuff like that. And remember, this phone does also have microSD card expansion, so you can always offload your photos and videos and even music and things like that onto a microSD card, and that will make a difference. And even if you're someone who's constantly downloading all kinds of games and apps and stuff like that, again, 128 gigabytes is really a lot of storage, and considering what you're probably going to pay for this phone, remember, despite going for around $289 at full price, the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is honestly on sale all the time, because after all, as a carrier branded phone, phones like this are really designed to be more affordable. So in general, despite its full price, you're probably going to be paying somewhere between $59 and $159 for it, depending on the sales going on at the time. So for a phone you can sometimes get for even under $100, getting this much internal storage is definitely impressive. And then finally, my fifth reason why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is because it has NFC. Now, in case you don't know what it is, NFC is the technology behind contactless mobile payment services. So if you like to use tap and pay, to use that feature, you will need NFC. And luckily with this phone, we do have NFC here. So if you do like to use tap and pay, with this device, you always can. And I am definitely glad to see this, because at this point in 2023, tap and pay is becoming so popular and widely used. I mean, at least in the US, pretty much every store I've been to this year has some sort of tap and pay. So I feel like in this day and age, there's really no reason for any smartphone not to have NFC. But for some weird reason, there are plenty of phones even more expensive than this that don't. There are phones like the Motorola Moto G Power 5G, for example, that are really nice phones, arguably even nicer than this, that for whatever reason don't have NFC. So seeing such an affordable, kind of basic phone like this that does have NFC is definitely nice. But those were my 5 reasons why you should buy the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. In general, I feel like for what it is, this is actually a really great device, and honestly, I feel like there are a lot more than 5 reasons to buy it. But like with any phone, there are also some reasons why you might not want it. So if you want to learn more about this device, definitely check out the description, where again, I will be linking to several other videos about it, as well as some information about pricing, availability, and some of my favorite smartphone accessories. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow Kalipa's Tech on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, I will see you in the next video.